Hi, this is Gina with your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic. Today I'm working here with the Baby Lock Lyric, and we would like to show you how to sew with a twin needle. First of all, I'm going to show you that my machine here, the Baby Lock Lyric, has the ability for me to turn on my twin needle safety feature. With this feature on, it's going to limit the width on some of the stitches that we do, and it won't allow me to do some stitches. So now that we've got that set, let me talk to you about how we set up the machine. So you can see here, when we're working with a twin needle, we need to have two threads. This is my auxiliary spool pin. It comes with this particular machine. We just pop it on the bobbin winder pin there. And I've got it set up here. You can also set it this way, but for today this was working better when I put it in this position. So we have both of those threads running through the machine, just the same way that we would thread our regular thread. But then when we get down here to the needle, let me zoom in. So let me give you a quick view of what the needle looks like. So the needle has a single shank at the top with two needles coming off on the bottom. And I've got that inserted, and then we're going to thread each thread through the needles. When we get to the last step here, our thread guide, just at the top of the needle, my green thread is behind that thread guide, but the red thread stays out. This helps to untangle our threads as they go into the needles. Now remember, when you're using a twin needle, you won't be able to use your needle threader because it will go right in between those two needles. So you're going to have to thread manually. So let me show you what this looks like. I happen to choose two different colors so you'll be able to see the difference between the two as I'm stitching. So let me show you here what happens when we sew with both needles. And right now I'm just doing a basic straight stitch. I have a stitch length of 2.5. And there you can see we get 2 rows of straight stitching side by side. They're nice and even. So this is a great way to do some top stitching if you wanted to look consistently spaced as you're stitching along. This is also a great way to hem your knit fabrics, because while we have 2 threads on the top, we have just a single bobbin, and that bobbin is kind of doing a zigzag between the 2 needles on the top. And this is especially nice for t-shirts because that zigzag in the stitch is going to give us some stretch to the stitch. Now the twin needles come in different widths apart. This one that I have on the machine here is about a 2.5 distance between the 2 needles. So let me show you what I just stitched here, and maybe this will be easier for you to understand. This is a 6mm needle, and you can see it's much wider than the stitching that I've done. So this would be a great needle to use if you wanted to do top stitching on your denim or jeans, canvas, anything like that. It gives you a nice perfect top stitch by having those needles threaded at the same time. You could use matching thread in each one, or you can use a contrast like I have here for a more decorative look. I did stitch out some decorative stitches so that you can see what we can do with our twin needle. So here we have a satin stitch, double satin stitch with the twin needle. This is a feather stitch. We have a little smocking stitch, our serpentine stitch, and this is a cross stitch. So just some fun things you can do. Now, one of the things you're going to want to be careful of if you don't have that safety feature on your machine is that if you're going to do some decorative stitches, you're going to want to walk the machine by hand. Let me just choose a zigzag stitch here quickly. We're going to want to walk our machine by hand just to make sure that as we travel left and right, we're not going to be hitting the foot. So I would recommend that you do that just to check it out. Walk through all of the steps of one motif of your stitch just to make sure that you're not going to break your needles or your foot there. So that's twin needle stitching. Give it a try. This has been your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic.